morning. I thought we'd do a little bit of free form painting today, which is kind of a fun thing to do at the end of the week. And then we'll take the weekend off and we'll do something new on Monday. Oh, actually, next Monday we're going to start paper macheing. And I have a couple projects to do. I'm really looking forward to this. You will need a little bit of flour, 1/4 cup to start. You will need some papers, light papers. Newspapers are best, but I don't think people have newspapers anymore. Anyway, some of you do. Save your newspapers over the weekend. Tissue paper works, paper towels, something light but strong. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you can start looking around for those things in your house. So I think we'll do a little bit of freeform painting and drawing, and I want to talk about some materials first. Let's see. Crayons work really well for this. Oil pastels work really well for this. And for paints, let's see, I'm missing one of my colors here. For paints, you can either use watercolor paints, any kind, even some old sets that might look a little funky at this point. Or you can use markers. So I want to show you some ways that you can use markers as paint. But I'm first going to just draw a little bit before I start to paint. And I am going to use circles on this. And I'm going to encourage you to do that too. Circles are a really strong symbol. And they're really fun to layer. So you can take your crayons, your oil pastels. If you don't have any, you can just use pencils. That's fine as well. Colored pencil, especially waxy ones, which we usually don't like, but for this it's a really good thing to do. So I want you to just have fun and enjoy yourself with this. Circles are really fun because of the way they intersect with each other sometimes, and you can make all different sizes, big and little. And it'd be nice if you could make 2 of these. We may use them for a cover of a book that we'll do week after next. If there is a week after next, pretty sure there will be. And also you can just play around and have fun. If you want to do more than 2, that's great. Sometimes it's fun to do different color schemes. Maybe do one with cool colors. Maybe cool colors with your drawing of your circles and then warm colors with your paint. Or not. So, of course, when you add watercolor to this, it will resist if you're using oil pastel or crayon because it has wax in it and it wants to repel the wax. I'm sorry, the wet on the wax is going to repel. You can go ahead and paint more circles with your watercolors if you like. Another fun thing is to put the water down first and then paint into that, which I could do maybe on this area here. So it's so much fun to just experiment with this and see what kinds of things you get. Oh, that wasn't wet enough. Let's see if I can make that a little wetter. But I want to show you something that's fun to fool around with if you don't have paints, or even if you do. And that is to use water-soluble markers. And you can also add water-soluble markers into this in addition to your crayons and oil pastels. And it is a way, let's pick a different color. I have this one out. Also, it's a good idea to really watch your colors when you do this. Sometimes I get a little lazy and I just pick the color that's nearest to my hand. But you want to think about how your colors are going to mix if you want to keep this sort of all one shade of colors, or if you want to make them super bright. Then if you hit this with water, you can actually activate the marker. And I have a little bit of the pink still left in there, but you can see that it makes a little bit of the blue is being activated. And it's going to keep going after I leave it alone for a little while. It's going to ooze a little bit more. So if I do a really kind of dark area, I can show you also. You can also, if you have tempera paints around, you can use those, water them down. But you can see that I'm actually picking up some color from that marker. Somehow I think that when you do this with markers, it sort of elevates it a little bit rather than just having straight marker. However, you can also use straight markers if you want to do that. But I encourage you to really cover your whole paper and not leave any white areas. You can see it as a little bit of a challenge. And as I said, maybe do 2 of these. And then I also want to talk a little bit about cleaning up when you are done. It is really nice to put away everything that you've been doing before you go on to your next art project. Even if you're going to be using the same materials, it's nice to sort of put the markers back in whatever marker container you have. Put your paintbrushes away. If you know you're going to use them again, don't put them too far away, but it's really nice to have your area clean, especially if you guys are working on tables that you might be doing other things on while you're at home. So see if you can get in the habit of doing that. All right, I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and then I will be back, and you guys can get started. Well, that was totally fun. Here's one that I did. And I noticed that I didn't quite know where to put the colors to start, but I just started putting it here and there. But as I got closer to finishing it all, it was more clear about where I should put the colors to sort of balance things a little bit. You might not want to think too hard about that. You might want to just have fun. So that's one I did. And here's the other one that I made a little bit more simple, a little less detail, smaller circles. And you'll notice that the paper that I used is just regular copy paper because I thought you guys might not have watercolor paper at home. And in fact, if we do use these for books, and I think we will, we want to have it be a thinner paper. Thicker paper is a little hard to bookbind with. It's going to get wrinkly, and after it dries, you can put it under a heavy book to flatten it out. And if you really, really, really like one of them and you do not want to use it for a book, you don't have to, but you also could do a third because we'll be cutting up just these in little squares and you won't see the whole thing. So if there's parts of one that you don't like so much, we won't use that part for the book. But that'll be another week. So I hope you guys have fun with this. Do it as much as you want. Remember to clean your workspace when you're done. And I hope you guys have a good day. And have a great weekend. And I'll see you on Monday.